I feel like I'm engaging in self-sabotage by allowing myself to dip into these negative mind states where I'm trying to allow other people's perceptions of me to change my perception of me. And if I know that I didn't do anything wrong, it's time to let it go. I don't understand why I do this. I think it's just a trauma response to like want to make sure that people like me or something, which is weird that you would want people that treat you like crap to like you. The validation thing, I don't know what's going on there. We're gonna work on that. But I am in Los Angeles, California right now. I feel like I honestly cannot enjoy this trip fully because I'm anxious to see what type of energy I receive from my roommate when I go back to the apartment that we share. Honestly, let's just start from where I left off. In December, I posted a video to my channel, and I was basically talking about my frustrations dealing with my living situations in the past. Freshman year of college, I didn't know the girl prior to being her roommate, and everything went smoothly with us until I confronted her about things that she wanted me to do that I felt were unfair, and then she stopped speaking to me for the remainder of our time living together, which was maybe a month or so. But it didn't really affect me that much. I mean, I definitely thought it was odd, but it didn't affect me that much because we were pretty much strangers before living together. And I will say the dynamic of me being a freshman and her being a senior may have had something to do with the way that she was acting, but I'll never know that because I'm not in her brain. My sophomore year living situation, knew her. She was in my major. Well, she's still in my major, and it was myself and 3 other girls. And once again, when I expressed how I felt about things that were happening, once again, this person blew up on me, stopped speaking to me, and also invaded my physical boundaries by going around the house and taking every single thing that belonged to me and putting it by the door. My current living situation, junior year, I knew this person, or I would say I was getting to know this person, which I thought was quite well. And I expressed, back in November, we were having a casual conversation, and I expressed how I was feeling after being asked a question, and they didn't like my response, and they began giving me the silent treatment, which didn't stop until I requested a conversation. And last month in January, I was asked to do something that I didn't want to do, and when I said no, I was given the silent treatment, which ultimately led up to something that honestly could have quickly turned into a physical altercation. But basically, I was verbally harassed and my physical boundaries were violated once again. So every single roommate experience that I have had, freshman, sophomore, junior year resulted in the silent treatment and 2 out of 3 physical boundaries being violated when I express any form of vulnerability. And it honestly, the last two situations hurt more because they were people that were telling me that they considered me a friend. Me, these days, even when I consider people friends, and I rarely use that word, even when I do consider people friends, there's always something in the back of my mind that's saying, I don't really know about you. And so when these instances happen where the person ends up not, I'm just gonna say we're not in alignment, it further makes me not want to engage with human beings. And it's really sad because there are probably people that I might meet in the future that could be a good match for me, but I have this trauma with friends or the whole realm of platonic relationships that makes me I'm not gonna keep putting my hand on the hot stove if I know that the stove is hot. So this situation in particular has been more hurtful because I definitely would consider myself to have been closer to this current roommate in comparison to the last one. As the living situations progressed, as I'm going through college, it's like we started from I didn't know her, didn't really care. I'm more familiar with her. We just met, and then thought we were friends. And so it's pretty much causing me to question what was going on in the relationship prior to now. Because if you were saying that you were my friend, how did we get from I consider you a friend to me getting verbally harassed and my physical boundaries being violated? I don't understand. And honestly, I feel like I'm still in the shocked phase. A lot of people do not talk about the grieving process when it comes to losing a relationship, and especially when it comes to losing friends. And the grieving process for me is very difficult because it starts with my stomach, and it starts with stomach aches. It starts with a lot of loss of appetite, and that is how my body processes grief and shock. And honestly, the initial blow up happened January 2nd, and from January 2nd to about January 17th or 18th, that was where the majority of the stress from the situation was at a high. Since then, I'm not gonna say everything seemed fine, because once the big blow up happened, I knew that nothing was going to be fine from that point. But it seemed like things were going in a way where we could possibly still have a positive living experience despite that occurrence. About a week or so ago, I had a conversation with my roommate about a couple of things that I felt that were being done that if they weren't done, that they could improve things. And so we had the conversation. It seemed like it was going pretty well. I was not at the house, or I was not present in the apartment for the entire day. One day, and I was gone from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. And when I got in the house at 9:30, I cooked my dinner, ate my dinner, and washed my face. And as I'm washing my face and preparing to get in the shower, she gets in the shower. I was shocked because she had been home all day. And when I decide I've been out all day, I had 4 classes back to back, 2 rehearsals back to back. After the 4 classes, I want to take a hot shower and get in my bed, and she got in the shower before me. And something about our apartment that's very annoying is that once a person takes a hot shower and they use all of the hot water, the water is not going to be hot for another 2 hours. So my whole nighttime routine was thrown off, and something I'm trying to work on is my sleep schedule. So my whole nighttime routine was just thrown off, and I talked to a couple people about it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to say anything. Like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And they convinced me, like, no, that was disrespectful. She was home all day. You need to address it. And so I addressed it the next day, and I said, I don't know what was going on in your schedule yesterday, but I was offended, and I felt like it was inconsiderate when you got in the shower knowing that I had been gone all day. And her response was, well, you were on the phone and you were taking too long, so I figured I might as well just get in. I don't know about you, but someone that has blatant inconsideration for others is troubling. Especially when you're living with someone. You can be blatantly inconsiderate when you live with yourself. But when it comes to having a roommate, I was shocked that the person had no remorse. I was shocked that I didn't sense any type of energy that would be leaning towards being apologetic. And I ended up texting her a couple days later about a face-to-face conversation that we had about a particular thing, and she didn't respond to my text. So she goes all day without responding to my text. Communication is very important. So I come to her in person and I'm like, hey, did you get my text? And she's like, I was in rehearsal. I know how text messages work. If you are busy when the person sends the message, you respond at your earliest convenience or when it's most convenient for you. And I feel like Apple has done a great job of allowing you to react to text messages. You can just like the message, send a thumbs up, anything, send a okay. But for you to not acknowledge that you received my message when we've had a face-to-face conversation about this, troubling. And the thing is, I feel like it's very sad that when I want to make a video about something that I am experiencing, how I experience fear for wanting to talk about my experience. Because the last time I talked about my roommate experience, the family of the roommate started cyber harassing me. They were making multiple accounts on, they were making multiple YouTube accounts to come back to the video and comment paragraphs and books about the type of person that I am. And I'm just like, you're calling me crazy. You're saying that I'm insane. So why would you care what an insane person is saying? Like, nothing was addressed. None of the things that you're bringing up were addressed when I was in the same space with you. But then once I publicly talk about it, oh, Christian is this and Christian is that. Like, you're not gonna try to defame my character by saying all of these things when I was in the house with you, you never addressed it. So I was really hesitant to make this video because I don't know why, but when people go through things and they involve other people, and I'm not even gonna say I have a platform because the amount of followers that I have, I'm considered a micro influencer. 0 to 10,000, I believe that's nano influencer. I think it's like 10K to something is like micro. So I don't consider myself to have a platform, but when my channel is not just about morning routine, makeup routine, like what I eat in a day, like that's not the vibe of my channel. The vibe of my channel is like the comment that I get most frequently is like, oh, you're so real, or this is so realistic, or like, I appreciate you for showing this rawness. And that's, I always say I don't have a niche, but like my niche is being myself. And a part of being myself is sharing my experiences because I feel like people don't share their experiences enough, which causes people to feel isolated and alone, and like everything that's happening to them is only happening to them, basically. So I'm definitely phasing out of the shocked part of my grieving process, and I'm phasing more into the acceptance stage of my grieving process. I talked to my therapist about everything, explained my past experiences with roommates and also my current experience with roommates, and she let me know that this particular situation, in addition to the other situations, the other people were exhibiting characteristics of emotional abuse. And basically she told me that when a person shuts down and when they start giving you the silent treatment without saying like, hey, I need a minute, or like, hey, I need some space to process, we can talk about this later. When the person shuts down and stops talking to you, that is emotional abuse. And I was like, really? Really? Is that so? And so it definitely helped me to not feel as crazy, because I'm like, when somebody's giving you the silent treatment and you haven't done anything to them but say, I don't feel comfortable with you doing this, or this bothers me, or I don't want to do this, that response that I'm getting is like, what did I do? Like, what did I not just say something very simple that's a boundary for me? And so knowing that these are abusive tactics of manipulative people just equips me with more tools to know when and if these situations approach me in the future. It also makes me, I'm still disappointed, but it makes me less upset that this person doesn't consider me their friend anymore. Because that's not the type of behavior that I am looking for in a friendship. That's not like, I am trying to not say I'm not perfect. I can't say I'm the perfect roommate because there's no such. Here's the thing. I don't think we should be using the terms perfect and human in the same sentence, because I don't think that perfection is attainable for humans. But what I will say is that I'm the ideal roommate. I'm not perfect because I am human, but I'm very pleasant to live with. I respect boundaries. I'm very considerate. And just to not receive that and for that not to be reciprocated is a little bit disheartening. And I don't think I would. Basically, we sign the lease until I graduate. So unless I leave and get a single, or she ends up leaving, we pretty much have to live together until graduation, which we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. But this trip, I feel like I really could not enjoy my trip until I got this off my chest, because I don't really feel comfortable speaking about my experience while I'm in the same space as the person, because I don't know what type of retaliation tactics might happen or occur from, me being in the middle of filming, me talking about my personal experience. But that's the thing. I have been through a lot to only be 20 years old. And I feel like everything that has happened to me, where I was feeling depressed, where my mental health was not in the best state. I'm not going to try to glorify trauma, but it really helped show me. It put a mirror up to the things that I need to work on, because I'm a person that's always doing self-reflection, because I am probably hyper considerate of other people's feelings. But if I have done all of this self-reflection and I honestly cannot find anything that I have done to the person that would cause them to treat me this way, I have to get out of that cycle of allowing myself to sink into that place where I'm literally trying to find, like, Chris, okay, what did you took a step to the left, and then you poured yourself some water, and then you ate dinner. So let's try to figure out why the other person was mad at you. That's not productive for my mental health. And so I just wanted to circle back and try to condense this topic to the realization that self-care and self-love is bigger than face masks. I said, can you close the door? I don't want to get copyrighted. Self-care and self-love is more than just like skincare routine, bubble bath. Like, I feel like the next chapter, or where I'm going with my self-care and my self-love journey, is the mental aspect. I feel like I'm engaging in self-sabotage by allowing myself to dip into these negative mind states where I'm trying to allow other people's perceptions of me to change my perception of me. And if I know that I didn't do anything wrong, I ask you multiple times, is there anything that I can do better? And you have nothing to say. It's time to let it go. I don't understand why I do this. I think it's just a trauma response to like want to make sure that people like me or something, which is weird that you would want people that treat you like crap to like you. The validation thing, I don't know what's going on there. We're gonna work on that. But honestly, I just had to discuss this, and I had to discuss this publicly, and I need for it to be documented because I'm starting to look at my YouTube channel as like a documentation resource. So as much as I sometimes get annoyed about filming or editing, like these are things that I can look back on, and I'm not sharing these things to make the situation bigger than it is. But I've had a track record of talking and addressing my experiences freshman, sophomore, junior year. So this is no different. And so I am just a little bit worried because I know that I'm so sensitive to energy, and I'm still anxious to see what is awaiting, what kind of energy is awaiting me when I get back to my apartment. But I feel like I need to work on separating my emotions from other people's emotions, which is very difficult because I feel things, like I feel things so deeply, and when another person is off, I feel it. And so if I'm walking into a space knowing that somebody else's energy is going to be off, I feel like I'm going to be walking on eggshells. And so I think moving forward, I have an understanding of how this person is moving, and I can adjust myself accordingly. So yeah, I don't, this part is probably too long. I was gonna include it within a vlog, but I think I'm just going to upload it as its own thing so I can have more space on my phone for other things. So yep, this is a recap of what I've been dealing with the past 7 months. So yeah, just keep me in your prayers. Keep my mental health in your prayers, because I'm not gonna say I know that this video is going to prompt drama, but in the past, sharing my experience has prompted drama. So I'm a little bit prepared for drama, but I really don't see an issue with anything that I said. It's my experience, so there's that. And yeah, so let me know some aspects of self-care or self-love that you feel like you've been lacking in, and we can discuss in the comments how some of the observations that we've made and how we plan to improve. So if you are still watching, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Hopefully it's a bit more upbeat. So yeah, thanks for watching.